We are not just blaming the defense. In fact, let's just get into it. The offense wasn't good either. The offense also wasn't good. CMC the last 2 weeks averaged 3.9 yards, I believe, a carry last week. This week was around 2.8. I think he finished around three yards a carry this week as well. Now, I know that he went out with the injury last week. He's not running the ball effectively the last couple weeks, the last 6 quarters that he's played. He's been great in the pass game, but he hasn't been running the ball effectively. And then again, let's talk about blunders. Kyle, all week long, we talked about how CMC should probably sit out and rest, and you still have enough to go get it done. You should. If Purdy's who everybody thought he is, then you have enough to go get it done without CMC in this game. Not only do you play him, but he played every offensive snap in this game. How is that even excusable at all? And then you lost to boot? Wow. I mean,
look,
he is the main focus on this offense. He is your offense right now. And he's not going to make it to the end of the season. You cannot do that to him. What the hell's going on, man?
Look, Jesse, this game wouldn't even be competitive if he wasn't out there every single play. That's just the truth of the situation. But we got to put something on CMC as well, because this is the second time in the red zone he's lost a fumble. He's fumbled the ball, I think they said 3 times in the last 5 games or something like that, but lost 2. He's too good. Look, JP Mason is not on the field as much as we think he should because of his fumbling issues. CMC can't be fumbling the ball. That's just giving up points.
The thing is JP Mason's never fumbled in a game.
That's it. That's funny. That's what's wild. Elijah Mitchell, I don't think has ever fumbled since high school. You know what I mean? And he doesn't see the ball. So I agree. But Kyle Shanahan is seeing something in practice. One thing, I know a lot of people have a lot of hate about Kyle Shanahan, but I think he makes the right personnel decisions. And if he's playing CMC out there every single play, Jesse, there's a reason. He knows that he doesn't want it that way. He knows that CMC is very, very important. But without Debo there, without Ray, they tried to make Ray into that Debo route. They're not explosive without CMC there, at least being that threat out of the backfield. And unfortunately, none of the other running backs have stepped up to be that type of threat. And we saw it. CMC scored, that touchdown that at the end of the first half, or in the second half, that got the game close off of a play out of the backfield. And I don't think any of the other running backs do that. So you got to keep them on there just to be the threat, because I don't think defenses are afraid of anybody like they're afraid of CMC on this offense.
I don't disagree with that, but man, Kyle Shanahan's offense was scoring just 18 points a game last year before CMC came. Okay. CMC had been undefeated in games that he finished in the regular season, started and finished in the regular season up until today. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This offense had been scoring 30 at will up until the last 2 weeks. Kyle has to figure out how to manufacture offense without CMC on the field. He just does. He does. Like you can't rely on him being this healthy. You can't rely on him playing every single down. You just can't do it. You got to figure out a way to manufacture points.
And they have the answer.
If you're that guy, you have to be able to.
And they have the answer. And the answer is Ayuk. And for some reason, he just wasn't on the field. Like, Ayuk could get open against any cornerback in the league. There's no question about it. It seems like him and Purdy have a lot of chemistry. For some reason, Purdy was going to Jennings more, going to Kittle more, and I just think you force feed Ayuk, man. You force feed Ayuk. I think this game could have been different.
I mean, for as bad as the defense has been, one thing they have done is given the offense some good field position on a couple turnovers the last 2 weeks. 3 turnovers the defense has forced. All 3 of them allowed the 49ers offense to start in the opposing team's territory. And on those 3 drives, the 49ers came away with 7 points. And that was because one of them was a 1-play drive from the 8-yard line. JP Mason ran it in for a touchdown. The other 2 drives over the last 2 weeks where they started inside the opponent's territory based off of gifts from the defense, They missed a field goal after losing 11 yards, starting in great field position, losing 11 yards, and then missed a field goal, and then CMC fumbled. Like, this offense is not getting it done either. They're not scoring. Like, they're good between the 20s, but they haven't been good the last couple weeks inside the opponent's territory. Like, once they get in deep into an opponent's territory, they're not scoring the way that they need to be scoring either. I mean, that's a little bit worrisome also.
And I think they're trying to maybe open up the playbook a little too much. And possibly, look, at the end of the day, they're trying to figure out, what they can and can't do. And the only way you could do that is through games, Jesse. But I imagine once these games become more and more kind of do or die, I think we get more and more into the dink and dunk and less of just allowing Brock Purdy to throw the ball down the field. Because ultimately, that's where they've gotten into a little bit of trouble, is kind of just letting Brock cook instead of the run, the short receiver kind of screens, the slants, all that kind of stuff. You didn't see a lot of that right now. Maybe that's because Debo's not there, but I still think you run that with Ayuk. I still think you could, run that with CMC out of the backfield. Ray, they tried to against Cleveland, and I don't think he looked that great. But you could still manufacture those, underneath routes and let these guys use their ability in the open field to
Bell
make plays.
too? Bell's kind of that guy.
Ronnie Bell hasn't been there, and ultimately, look, for how bad this game was, the team still was in position to win, just like they were in position to win against Cleveland. So I know we're talking about the sky is falling and all that kind of stuff, but we're talking about fixing the play here or there that would have made these games easy wins instead of close losses. And I'd rather be in that position than just this team just looks all kind of disheveled and is getting blown out and all that kind of stuff. At least they're not in that position right now, Jesse. But with the defense playing as bad as they were, with the offense not as good as they are, we still had opportunities to win. And I think that's the silver lining that we need to look at, to know that, hey, this team is not as terrible as this game ended up being. But to win a Super Bowl, you better be pretty damn consistent, and that consistency needs to get there.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, let's just go to Purdy directly, straight from the offense. We talked about, how bad the offense looked in general. We talked about CMC not being able to run effectively. We talked about some of the play calling.